The story depicts a married couple, Don and Elise, who miss their two children currently on a study tour abroad. Despite their longing, a sense of gratitude radiates from their faces. The couple then has lunch with Jeff, Sally, Jacob, and Karen. However, Karen sets aside her meal for her lover who has not yet returned. Many believe that Karen's lover will never return because he has died, as no one has ever returned alive after leaving home. This statement sparks an argument until the sound of a knock on the door is heard. When they open it, they find a young boy who appears very frightened. He claims to have come from a distant location and has been running non-stop, knocking on every door, hoping someone would open it until he finally arrived at this house. Meanwhile, Karen, still hoping for her lover's return, tries to peek through a crack in the wood, unaware that something outside is waiting. The situation becomes increasingly uncontrollable as one by one the group is brutally killed, leaving only Don, Elise, the young boy, and Jacob. Don urges his wife to let go of the boy and escape, but Elise, unable to bear it, ignores the warning. As the violent attackers break down the door, Don decides to escape through a window. He runs non-stop until he reaches the dock where Jacob is preparing a boat. Unfortunately, in the panic, Jacob slips and is quickly killed. In an instant, Jacob becomes violent and enraged, trying to attack, but Don manages to overcome him and escape, carrying with him a deep sense of guilt. In Europe, specifically England, a deadly virus originating from a laboratory is accidentally released and spreads across the country, infecting the entire population. Several weeks after this horrific event, many things have happened. The violent humans die of starvation, and the US sends troops to London to clear the area until England is declared free of infection. Reconstruction begins, and eventually, the refugees are allowed to return. The city is still guarded by US armed forces, including a sniper named Doyle and a pilot named Flynn. As the threat diminishes and boredom sets in, the soldiers start using radios to joke with one another. Meanwhile, on a plane about to land, the scene shows refugees who seem eager to see their hometowns again. Among them are children, which frustrates a military doctor named Scarlett, as she believes it's too early to bring children back. Later, during an examination, Scarlett meets Tammy and Andy, who happen to be Don and Elise's children. Scarlett notices that Andy has heterochromatic eyes, a trait inherited from his mother. After explaining some rules, the two youngsters board a train, observing soldiers burning leftover corpses to prevent the virus from spreading and sanitizing every corner of the city. They eventually arrive at a livable zone called District 1, where they reunite with their father, who takes them to his luxurious apartment, a perk of his job as a maintenance officer in District 1. However, Andy and Tammy are not particularly interested, as home, where their mother was waiting, would have been much better. Don is eventually forced to recount how zombies attacked the cabin where they had taken refuge. But he lies, claiming he saw Elise being devoured by zombies and that there was nothing he could do to save her. That night, Andy has a nightmare about Elise turning into a zombie and quickly goes to his sister, scared not of the zombies but of forgetting his mother's face. The next morning, the two sneak out of the house and head toward the Forbidden Zone, carefully crossing the edge of a bridge, unaware that Doyle has been watching them. As the soldier reports their actions, the two continue on their journey, eventually reaching an uninhabited area where they enjoy the quiet, free to play, without anyone stopping them. They find a courier's motorcycle, and Tammy bravely searches a store for the keys. The siblings then continue their journey on one of the motorcycles, riding through streets of what has now become a dead city, witnessing the destruction caused by the zombie attacks. Sometime later, they arrive at their old home, where they retrieve a photo of Elise and gather other items as keepsakes. Andy goes into an upstairs room where he finds rotting food and discovers something hidden. To his shock, he realizes that his mother, Elise, is still alive, and they embrace tightly, though Elise's grip is so strong that it causes Andy pain. Unfortunately, at the same time, soldiers arrive to secure the children and apprehend Elise. Sometime later, after being cleaned up, Elise is placed in a quarantine room restrained. Scarlett tries to ask her several questions, but Elise refuses to respond. Eventually, Scarlett takes a blood sample from Elise and is shocked to discover that Elise has been bitten by a zombie, but shows no signs of mutation. Scarlett confirms that Elise is a carrier of the virus, capable of spreading it, but somehow she is immune to it. Scarlett further explains that Elise could be the key to creating a vaccine. General Stone permits Scarlett to conduct research, but orders that Elise be executed afterward to prevent the virus from spreading again. Meanwhile, Tammy and Andy are placed in a separate quarantine room. When Don visits them, Tammy and Andy express their anger over their father's lies. Overcome with guilt, Don does something reckless by using a special access card to enter Elise's room. The couple finally reunites and shares an emotional moment. However, according to Scarlett, any fluid from those infected can cause transmission. Suddenly, Don screams in pain and begins to go insane, terrifying Elise. Unfortunately, she cannot do anything because she is still tied to the bed. After killing Elise, Don attacks the soldiers, biting and slaughtering them before escaping and spreading the virus throughout the district. Upon learning of this, Stone immediately decides to move to the bunker and initiate lockdown protocols while the soldiers prepare for battle. Tammy and Andy see a guard who tries to calm them, promising to return soon, but moments later, it is a zombie that returns instead. Fortunately, Scarlett arrives just in time, kills the zombie and quickly takes the two siblings to escape. Soon after, they find themselves amidst a desperate crowd of civilians trying to flee. A soldier orders all civilians to go through a specific door, but Scarlett refuses, leading to a scuffle, during which Andy becomes separated. Placed in a room with other civilians, a confused Andy tries to find a way out. To his shock, he encounters his father, now a zombie. Andy attempts to warn the others, but it is too late as Don quickly breaks down the door and immediately attacks. Struggling to escape amidst the chaos, Andy eventually finds a way to climb and hide in an air vent, while most of the civilians have turned into zombies. Together, they have managed to break through doors and now roam freely on the streets, attacking any remaining healthy individuals. At the same time, emergency lights are activated on the streets, making it easier for snipers to shoot. This also benefits Scarlett and Tammy as they use the opportunity to escape from the zombies. With impressive skill, Doyle takes down zombies one by one. Unfortunately, no matter how many zombies he kills, more keep appearing, making it difficult to distinguish between infected and uninfected people. Soldiers are supposed to only shoot zombies, but given the chaos, Stone, seemingly losing control, orders the shooting of anyone wandering in the streets. This is particularly dangerous for Andy, who has managed to get out of the vent and is now in the middle of the turmoil. Fortunately, Doyle, who refuses to follow the order to eliminate survivors, keeps shooting zombies attacking Andy, giving him a chance to escape with other survivors. Seeing some zombies starting to climb onto rooftops to attack the soldiers, Doyle has no choice but to leave his post. Back with Andy, who is now hiding in a warehouse with other survivors, he finally reunites with Tammy and Scarlett. Andy explains how terrifying Don has become, and shortly afterward, Doyle appears, offering to guide all the survivors out of the area before the soldiers commence their destruction. The group exits the building through the back door, sneaking through narrow streets while remaining vigilant. Flynn contacts them with some startling news. The situation is about to worsen and the military will begin bombing the entire district in a few minutes. Doyle quickly convinces Flynn to pick him up at Regent Park, without revealing the presence of the survivors. Soon after, the group continues their journey with snipers still firing, resulting in the deaths of many survivors. Now, only Scarlett, who has minor injuries, the two siblings, Doyle, and a man named Sam remain. At one point, using the reflection from metal, Doyle realizes that the sniper firing shots is not a soldier, but a civilian who has become frustrated and deranged. Doyle then asks Sam to run in a zigzag pattern to distract the sniper, but Sam refuses. Brave Andy steps in to take on the task, allowing Doyle to eliminate the sniper. Whether real or not, Don's appearance terrifies Andy. Fortunately, the group arrives just in time, and they all manage to escape District 1 before the military launches missiles to incinerate the area. The explosion destroys everything, but surprisingly, the zombies persist and now flee to London, entering buildings to attack everyone and create chaos. Returning to Doyle's group, they eventually reach the abandoned Regent Park, which has been deserted since the virus spread. While waiting for Flynn, Scarlett explains Elise's immunity to the virus, suggesting that this immunity might be inherited by her children, offering hope for creating a vaccine. Soon after, Flynn contacts Doyle, informing him that he will be arriving shortly, but warns Doyle to be cautious as the surviving zombies are spreading out of London. At the same time, Doyle spots the zombies and tells everyone to take cover. Flynn soon arrives and lands the helicopter, but only allows Doyle to accompany him, leading to an argument. As Flynn starts to take off, Sam recklessly jumps out, and Flynn performs a dangerous maneuver, using the helicopter's blades to kill a group of zombies. The remaining zombies begin to chase Doyle's group.
Man, we're gonna fucking die down here! Do something!
Through radio communication, Flynn tells Doyle to meet him at Wembley Stadium, but still refuses to take the survivors. Upon arriving in the city, Doyle's group is shocked to see gas being dispersed. At the same time, zombies return, making sheltering inside a car their only option for survival. Within seconds, the gas takes down the zombies, but just as they feel relieved, soldiers arrive with flamethrowers, burning anything that remains. Unfortunately, the car won't start, leaving Doyle with no choice but to sacrifice himself to push the car. Before doing so, he instructs Scarlett and the others to head to Wembley. Refusing to give up, the military now sends a combat helicopter to stop Scarlett and the children. Fortunately, Scarlett manages to avoid the gunfire and eventually ends up in a subway station. They continue on foot through the darkness, using the night vision scope from Doyle's rifle. This is not easy, as it is very dark, and there are scattered corpses, including on the stairs, causing the two siblings to fall and become separated. Soon, Scarlett finds Tammy, but to her shock, a zombie suddenly attacks, seizing the rifle and brutally killing Scarlett. After the zombie leaves, Tammy takes the rifle and is devastated to see Scarlett's body. Meanwhile, Andy is shown being found by a zombie, who turns out to be Don, and is immediately attacked. At the same time, Tammy finally finds her younger brother, but unfortunately she is too late as Andy has already been bitten. The only thing Tammy can do is shoot zombie Don several times. When checked, Andy suddenly rises and tries to flee, not wanting to hurt his sister. However, Tammy reassures him that she won't be harmed and reminds him of their promise to stay together. Andy's eyes are shown beginning to turn red, but he does not go berserk like a zombie. The two siblings eventually arrive at Wembley and inform Flynn about what happened to Doyle and Scarlett. Feeling sympathetic and having no other option, Flynn agrees to take the children out of England. The film concludes with a scene 28 days later showing Flynn's abandoned helicopter in Paris. A distress call is heard over the radio, and a horde of zombies is seen running toward the Eiffel Tower. This leaves the question of whether the virus has spread to France, or even worse, across the entire European continent, and what will happen to Tammy and Andy, and the film ends. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.